all mute yourselves. So this is the Roseville Rotary meeting. I am Deb Nygaard, current president. And would you all please join me in the flag pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you very much. Thank you, Kathy. And Julie, do you have our invocation this morning?
My invocation today has a sports slant due to our speaker, Derek, with the St. Paul Saints, along with the trust slant due to the latest book we talked about in our Rotary Book Club this morning, The Little Teal Book of Trust by Jeffrey Gitmer. I feel both of our organizations have built up high levels of trust with our members, ticket holders, community, vendors, corporate business partners, and sponsors. According to their website, the Saints entered Minnesota in 1992 and played their first game in 1993. Many thought this plucky little organization wouldn't last a year. However, this little engine that could has brought millions of people joy, laughter, and long-lasting memories. And it can only keep on going with the Twins partnership. Sports teaches you when to take the lead, when to let others go ahead, when to cheer the joy, and how to make the balance. When you can give collective goods the first priority rather than personal achievement, you're a powerful team. We're one drop when standing alone, but an ocean as a team. Our Roseville Rotary makes a great team where each member's strength is the team and the team's strength is every individual member of it. We both believe in vision, harmony, and consistency. A powerful team is made by pursuing their dreams and not giving up hopes. The team that plays together reaches its goal. To that end, I would like to read the list from Jeffrey Gitmer's book, The Simple Elements of Trust That You Must Master in order to make it possible for a relationship of trust to blossom. Think about how many of these both of our organizations have achieved. Tell the truth, deliver what you promise, do what you say you will do, communicate in a timely manner, bring value beyond your product or service, be friendly, be sincere, be appreciative of their business, be grateful for the opportunity to be of service, be consistent, give trust. You become trustworthy by giving trust to others. Jeffrey Gitmer. I think both of our organizations exemplify that.
Thank you very much, Julie.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. Those are fantastic words to live by. I want to thank Lauren for being our record reporter today. Thank you, sir. And we have a guest, Joe Salmon. Would you unmute yourself and introduce yourself to us, please?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Stallman. I'm a Rotarian in the North St. Paul Maplewood Oakdale Club, so right down the street from all of you. And I'm here today just because I was interested in your guest speaker. I'm a baseball fan, so thanks for having me.
Well, we're grateful that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. And Jan, would you like to give an announcement?
I would love to give an announcement. And we're going to have just a very little presentation about a foundation. This is, we had a meeting there, and the district has a campaign for, Kathy, are we about ready with the slideshow? A campaign for contributing for the month of February. So I have just a little pitch to make for you. February is the month of love, and since it's also Rotary's birthday month, we're combining them to share the love campaign. And even though we're going to see hearts anyway, so why don't we just use those? This month, we encourage all members, district members, to give to the foundation's annual share, which are the funds that come back to our district to use in grants that our clubs sponsor. So the more we give, the more impact we have on our own communities and around the world. Please consider contribution of any amount to the annual fund. We have special recognition opportunities. Here you see them. If you give 100 or more, you get 2-to-1 recognition points. If you give $365, they'll make a full jump in your Paul Harris Fellowship. So if you are already a fellow, it will take you up to the next level. And if this is for the Share the Love campaign, and all it takes, if you have never given, is $365 to get that $1,000 recognition. But if you want to go really big, you can give $1,000 in this month, and not only will your $1,000 do a pile of good and you'll get points, but you will also get recognition on the district website. You get your choice of the limited edition Share the Love clothing, and there will be an announcement of that coming out tomorrow. And we'll have a special significant donor event later in the year, and the opportunity to share a Paul Harris Fellowship who you get to choose. So you'll be able to pass one out to somebody that you know, admire, recognize, that does good in the world as Rotary does. And this is also a way that we can probably find some new people. So it's easy to give to the foundation. You can do it online at Rotary. You can mail it to the Rotary Foundation. You can give it to anybody at the club, but especially you could give your check to Kathy or mail it to Kathy in the office. Thank you for your time. And I want to give credit to Kyle Hogan for being the author of this campaign. Thank you. You're muted, Deb.
Now I have to put $1 in my jar every time somebody says that. So thank you very much. And we really want to encourage every Rotarian to give to the foundation every year. Every Rotarian every year is the E-Ray campaign. And so even if it's only $10 or whatever you can afford, we want to really encourage you to donate to the foundation. Let's see, are there any other announcements? If you could just raise your hand if you have an announcement. Okay, Kathy, would you pull up our little history picture? For those of you who are guests, this is our 50th anniversary of our club. And so for funds, we're pulling up pictures from our past. And so this is the club year from 88 to 89. Lloyd Nielsen was president. Vice president was Don Severson. Thank you so much, Kathy. Secretary was Lorraine Baker. And I know some other names on here. Bob Burmeister is a current member. So anyway, it's just fun to look back and see who has contributed to our club and made us what we are. So thank you very much. Let's take 4 minutes for happy dollars. If somebody wants to raise their hand who's got a happy dollar. Oh, come on, somebody's happy about the game. Mary Jo.
Well, I guess I could be happy about, I actually watched the game, which is very unusual for me, but no, what I wanted to say was, I'll let someone else talk about the game. I'm just happy, and we talked about it at the beginning, about our book club, and we talked about it last time, but I love our book club. The members that are there are so dedicated. We have such a good relationship with each other, and we just have so much fun. It's a great time to be laughing and learning. So I encourage anyone who wants to be a part of it, but just thanks to Al and Lauren and Lynn and Julie and Barb Enan and Don Salverda most for keeping us all together. So just wanted to do happy dollars for book club that we just had this morning.
Thank you very much.
Deb, I've got $5.
All right.
I was volunteering for the first time lately at Swedish Institute yesterday, and came across an unusual situation. 2 guys showed up, and they wanted to figure out how one of them could hide until his girlfriend came in with her friend, so he could jump out and propose to her. And it turns out this was the 3rd time he's been trying to do a secret or a surprise proposal. Both other times had not worked because something had happened. I don't know if it was COVID or what it was. And so I had the fun of finding a place where he could hide. meeting the ladies when they came in. He said there'd be two girls coming in and wanting to go up a particular stair to the solarium, and he would pop out from there. And so these two ladies walked in, and I said, "Oh, you probably want to go up to the solarium." They headed up the steps, and I turned around and two more ladies walked in. And I thought, uh-oh. So I got them aside, looking at something else. And what tipped it off to me is one of those two, when they walked in, they said, "I want to take you to the solarium." And I thought, oh, this is the right group. So I had to wait until the other ladies walked out up above. And then, and at that point, three other people walked down a stair next to the solarium and walked in. So it took us about 5 minutes, but it all worked fine and they were happy. So it was fun.
Julie Wern, you're next.
Thank you. I just thought of this. I worked the St. Paul Winter Carnival, the ice and snow carving at the State Fair last Friday from 12 to 3, and it was very cold. But the cool thing was it was a steady stream of cars coming through, steady, never let up. But almost every single car had food for Second Harvest Food Shelf or a monetary donation. It was just so heartwarming to see everyone. I mean, the cars were endless, but everyone came and donated. And those that didn't, like, oh my gosh, I forgot to bring something, or I didn't know we were supposed to do this, can I give you money? And it's like, you don't have to, but yes, that's more than welcome. Thank you very much. So it was pretty cool to see the caring of the community that Minnesotans have to care for others in need. And the ice sculpture, I mean, that Snow and Ice still did tremendous things to help Carnival this year, because it was totally sold out. So that's just an incredible, all around, it was just an incredible event.
Thank you. Brad, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm still a little winded from running up 2 flights of stairs to get my Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat, since Deb, you mentioned the Super Bowl. So anyways, $5 happy so that I could display this hat, even though I'm not really a fan. My dad used to live just outside of Tampa, and I lost a bet when the Vikings in their, I think it was 1998, they went 15-1. And the one game that they lost, I was at with my dad at Raymond James Stadium when they lost to the Buccaneers. And so my punishment for losing that bet was I had to buy this hat, and at least I got to wear it yesterday and cheer on Tom Brady, who makes me feel like even though I'm 45 years old, I could win a Super Bowl. So
that's great. Thank you, Brad. All right. I think at this point, Jenny, we will turn it over to you and ask you to introduce our speaker.
I'm excited to, absolutely. So today we have a fellow Rotarian, a member of the St. Paul Rotary, Derek Scherer, who is the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the most successful minor league baseball team in the country, the St. Paul Saints, at least in my mind, right? So he is here to talk to us today about the newest partnership with the Minnesota Twins, what that means for both clubs, and what that means for the community. So welcome, Derek. Oh, we can't hear you.
You must be muted, Derek. Now you got to put $1 in my jar.
I got it. I'll put 10.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you, Jenny. Appreciate the introduction. Thank you for the invitation to speak to the Roseville Rotary. As a fellow Rotarian, I love the opportunity to speak to Rotaries any chance I get. At minimum, it's a makeup. I'm not sure how valuable a makeup is in these days of COVID and virtual, but no, I just enjoy speaking to these groups, folks with similar minds and thoughts and interests. Julie, I should also thank you if you want to. I don't know if everybody can tell what you have on there, but I noticed the top of the logo there. So thank you for representing, and I appreciate you sort of talking about the culture with the Saints. I really appreciate that. One of the things, oftentimes organizations talk about their brand, and when they refer to their brand, they're referring to their logo or their colors or the look. For the Saints, our brand is a phrase. We call it consistently doing well the things that matter most. And in our world, the things that matter most are affordability, customer service, fun, energy, creativity. And if we feel like if we do those things well consistently, which we've tried to do over the last 28 years, that folks will enjoy their time at the ballpark, and our brand will be recognized and appreciated. So what you mentioned earlier, Julie, really hit home. So thank you for that. I'm going to do my best to not spend too much time just speaking to the group and spend more time answering questions, because I feel like I'm talking to a hometown crowd here. I think most of you know who we are and generally what we're all about, and a little bit about our history. So I'll do just a little bit of laying the foundation for what's happening moving forward, and then open it up to questions if that's okay. Quick history about myself. Again, Jenny mentioned my name's Derek Scher, Executive Vice President and General Manager with the Saints, which in essence means that I get a corner position on the tarp when it rains. That's what big titles mean in minor league baseball. I've been with the Saints now for 17 seasons. I've been with the ownership group for around 27 seasons, I believe. The ownership group that owns the Saints also owns a team in Charleston, South Carolina, a team in the Hudson Valley area of New York, and previously owned a team in Fort Myers, Florida, which is where I started my career after attending Indiana University. See, I'm glad that we're going virtual here because everybody's on mute. I can't hear you booing when I say that I went to IU. So it's a safer place. But after graduating Indiana, I started working for Mike Beck, Marv Goldklang, and Bill Murray with the team in Fort Myers, Florida, which coincidentally or ironically now, 27 years later, Fort Myers was an affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and also operated the front office staff there, including myself at the time, operated spring training for the Twins. So it's this affiliation that I'll be talking about today is sort of a full circle thing for me. I started my career with this ownership group, working in partnership with the Twins, and now several years later doing it again. But from Fort Myers, I moved to Charleston, South Carolina. Was there for 4 years as general manager of the Charleston River Dogs, and then in 2004, I was given the opportunity, and I can't even express how big of an opportunity that was for me to move to St. Paul and take over as the general manager as the Saints. This in our industry, the St. Paul Saints have always been considered a unique and special franchise. The St. Paul community is a unique and special place to do what we do. So as much as my wife may have had difficulty being pulled from the beaches that we had lived on for 11 years, for me, the opportunity to move to St. Paul was the absolute culmination. So I was thrilled with it. And 17 years later, even my wife has bought in. We're Minnesotans and raised 2 boys here in Minnesota now. One a senior in high school, one a sophomore. So 100% bought in. But moving forward, could not be more excited about this opportunity that we have to shift gears from being an independent club, which has meant so much to us since opening shop in 1993 and throwing our first pitch in 1993. Julie's right. We rolled in 1992 and opened up business in 92, but our first season was 93. Being an independent franchise is in our DNA, and it always will be. But this opportunity to partner with the Twins is one that is unique and exciting and has not been done before. Nothing like what we're able to do now in this partnership has been done before. So we couldn't be more excited. Now I'll dig a little bit into that in a minute, but to sort of fall back and give you a sense of how we arrived here, about the fall of 2000, the late summer 2019 into the fall of 2019, Major League Baseball began digging into how do we how do we improve our player development? How do we improve the systems? How do we improve the experience for minor league players? How do we be a more efficient business from the standpoint of developing players from draft time to the time they make it to the major leagues? And there were a few key elements to how Major League Baseball wanted to do that. One was to improve facilities, to ensure that all of their players were playing in top of class facilities with exceptional nutritional centers, exceptional fitness training centers, safety precautions throughout the facility, immaculate playing surfaces, all of these things. So facilities were at the top of the list. Travel was at the top of the list, trying to make travel more comfortable for players. For those who follow minor league baseball at all, the life of a minor league baseball player is not very glamorous, nor is it very comfortable. So while they are professional baseball players, it's not what you envision from the standpoint of a major league player. So for major league teams to really focus on improving the minor league baseball players' experience was a big step. And they felt like it was important to improve their development. So facilities, travel, geography was incredibly important for a major league team to improve the geography of their minor league affiliates, bring them closer to the parent club was very important. That creates so much flexibility in moving players from one level to another. Take another step back for those who don't know this about minor league baseball. In the past, minor league baseball had 6 levels, starting at the highest level, AAA, then AA, then single A. There were 2 levels of single A, and then there were 2 levels of what was called rookie baseball, short season single A. And there were approximately 160 teams in all of affiliated minor league baseball. None of that really mattered to the Saints because we were independent. We were off in our own category, but for affiliated minor league baseball, there were 160 teams. In an effort to accomplish better facilities, better travel, better geography, Major League Baseball elected to shrink the number of teams to 120 from 160. And they put out a proposal in, I want to say it was in September of 2019, that they went public with a proposal that shared all of these things: travel, facilities, geography, and shrinking the number of teams. Also in that proposal was the thought to include 2 independent teams in their new 120 team model, and one of those teams listed was the St. Paul Saints. At that point in time, we hadn't been involved in the conversation. We hadn't really discussed it with the Twins. We hadn't discussed it with minor league baseball or Major League Baseball. So it was news to us. Television stations, newspaper reporters, we had microphones, our phones ringing, microphones in our face. Hey, what do you think? Are you excited to become a AAA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins? And at the time we said, look, we're not involved in that conversation. We don't know anything about it. We love who we are. We love what we do. We love who we've been doing it with, and we love how we do it and don't anticipate changing. But you know, given an opportunity to have some conversations and consider it, maybe. So that was the conversation back in the fall of 2019. Everything really sort of went quiet on that front over the course of the winter. We began planning for our 2020 season as an independent club. Very excited about the schedule we had in place for that. And then, of course, as we all know, the pandemic hit, and life for everyone changed. Everyone in the sports world changed. At that point, the conversations at the Major League Baseball level continued to heat up with their minor league affiliates. We had an opportunity in the spring of 2020 to begin having some sort of offline conversations with the Twins to understand what it was they were looking for, hoping for, and how it fit into the Major League Baseball plan. And it started to make a little bit more sense. And again, as I mentioned before, it's a unique experience, a unique opportunity that really only exists here. That there are no scenarios that check all of the boxes for Major League Baseball's parent teams with their minor league affiliates the way we do for the Twins. It became apparent to us that back in the summer of 2019, when Major League Baseball's owners were talking about this new plan, this new structure, it became apparent to us that somewhere along the way, the Twins raised their hand and said, "Hey, look, if we want to bring all of our affiliates closer, if we want to have our AAA affiliate in an impeccable facility, one of the top in the country, if we want to have a team close in proximity to us, improve our travel, we've got a team right down the street. Unfortunately, at this point, they're an independent club, and how can we figure out a way to bring them into the fold and make this all work?" So that's what really began in the spring of 2020 was, we're all on board, we're excited, we think it can work. How do we make it happen? And ourselves, the Twins, Jim Polad, Dave St. Peter, Marv Goldklang, our chairman, Mike Veck, our president, myself, Tom Whaley, the rest of our staff began working toward how do we make this this really unique, exciting opportunity become a reality, because there were so many moving pieces as to how that would, a lot of puzzle pieces that had to be brought together to make this opportunity a reality. And I give a lot of credit to everybody involved, primarily Marv Goldklang, Mike Veck, Jim Polad, and Dave St. Peter for really putting all those pieces together to make this, moving the mountains necessary to make this this sort of dream a reality. I don't think anybody anticipated 28 years ago when the Saints threw their first pitch that this was where we would end up, and we couldn't be more excited about it. From a Twins perspective, it does so much to improve, to provide them with competitive advantages and improve their player development system. CHS Field already has won awards for its field, for its facilities. It was built to AAA standards back in 2015. There are a few things that will need to be added along the way, but and we're in process of doing that now. But the facility was designed, even though it was an independent facility, it was designed to house AAA baseball. So that made it an easy transition. Over the course of the summer, something happened that made it even easier and make us even more excited and the Twins more excited. If many of you baseball fans recall, the Major League Baseball played a truncated season beginning in mid-July. They needed a place to house what they called a taxi squad. They called it alternative training sites. So while the Major League team was playing in their Major League ballpark, they needed a place to have at least 30, 35, maybe 40 players staying healthy, playing, training, and being ready to play if called upon. They canceled the minor league season last year, so they didn't have a AAA team last year. They didn't have a AA team. So they didn't have minor leaguers who were healthy and ready to play Major League Baseball if one of the major leaguers got injured. So every major league team sought out a minor league facility somewhere nearby that they could house that taxi squad. Obviously, it made perfect sense for the Saints to house and CHS Field to house the Twins' alternate training site because of the proximity, and secretly because we were having these conversations behind the scenes about potentially working together as an affiliate. So in July, or actually late June, early July, we became that alternate training site. It gave the Twins coaching staff an opportunity, and the majority of their AAA players who will be on our roster this year, it gave them an opportunity to get a feel for the facility, the fitness facilities, the field, the clubhouses, the neighborhood surrounding, which obviously Lower Town is a wonderful place for us to do what we do. So it allowed everybody to sort of test drive what this partnership might look like. What became a little bit interesting and more exciting was that we also began playing games as an independent club last summer as well. Beginning in July, we were in Sioux Falls, playing all of our games over there because we couldn't host fans here in the state of Minnesota. As we worked through things with the Department of Health and the governor's task force, we were able in August to begin playing home games here in front of limited capacities. So we got to even work that much more closely together with the Twins to sort of make something possible that shouldn't have been possible from a feasibility standpoint. The Twins operated their alternate training site training in the morning. The Saints rolled in the afternoon, took batting practice, played games in the American Association at night. So we had an opportunity to really show off, both from a Twins and a Saints perspective, how we could work together, establish COVID readiness protocols, establish all of the different transitional processes for their players to come and go safely, our players to come and go safely, and just realize how well we could work together. So last summer really provided a unique opportunity to get to know each other. We've always worked well with the Twins. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Too many of you have been around long enough to know that that's not necessarily the case. In the early days, we may have bumped heads every now and then. The relationship might have been a little bit antagonistic back in the 90s when the Saints were just getting started. I think Andy McPhail at one point called the Saints Mike's Beer League when referring to Mike Beck and the Saints. I think it was Sid Hartman that, rest in peace, of course, who said that we wouldn't make it past July that first summer. So things were definitely different then, but as time has progressed, the relationship with the Twins has developed. Certainly, as Dave St. Peter took over as president of the Twins and sort of rose in the leadership with the Twins organization, I think things started to shift with the relationship between the Twins and the Saints. And I think Dave always felt the same way we did. If we're all doing our jobs well and we're all delivering a great product, a great experience to the fans of Minnesota and the Twin Cities, more baseball is better baseball. And from that point on, late 90s, early 2000s, certainly into my time here with the Saints and Dave's time there with the Twins, that relationship has just continued to improve. We've partnered, we've worked together, but we've never really worked hand in hand the way we have an opportunity to do so now. So we just, as I said before, we just couldn't be more excited about the opportunity. The advantages it provides for the Twins are limitless from a flexibility standpoint. As a fan, I think you can all sort of think about what it might look like for a Twins AAA player wearing the Saints uniform, which is the key to this partnership. Nothing changes that much, or really at all, from a Saints fan experience perspective. Walking into the ballpark, prices, promotions, fun, creativity, irreverence, all of that stays the same. Our ownership stays the same. Our front office stays the same. Our entertainers, all of that experience stays the same. What changes is between the white lines, we're now going to have the Twins' top prospects. We're going to have the best players in minor league baseball wearing our uniform, as well as wearing our visiting team's uniforms as the top prospects from around Major League Baseball visit St. Paul. So on any given day, the Twins may have an injury. They may need a pitcher because they have a doubleheader due to weather, and they have the flexibility of a player playing a game in the afternoon for the Saints, being able to drive across town and play a game for the Twins that evening. So there's so much flexibility. Or on the flip side of that, they also have the ability to send a player down to rehabilitate if he's coming back from an injury. Whereas in the past, they would send that player to Fort Myers. They'd be with the doctors in Fort Myers, the training team in Fort Myers. Now that player can live in the comfort of his own house, condo, apartment here in the Twin Cities, come over, put on the Saints uniform, play for the Saints, still be able to rehabilitate with all of the doctors here in the Twin Cities. And then after playing a couple of rehabilitating games, go back to Target Field. So there's all kinds of flexibility there. Coaching staff has an opportunity to come across the river and watch their minor leaguers with a 15-minute drive as opposed to jumping on a flight. So much flexibility there. For the Saints, we're very excited, obviously, for the reasons I just mentioned, the opportunity for our fans to be able to see the top players in all of minor league baseball. our season expands. So we go from playing 50 home games in a full schedule of 100 games to now playing 70 to 75 home games in a full schedule of 140 to 150 games. Our schedule will now match up with the Twins' major league schedule. They like to have their AAA teams playing at the same time they play for any number of reasons. But so we have an opportunity now to expand our schedule, do even more for downtown St. Paul, bringing 20 to 25 more events to town, times the 8,000 people per game that attend Saints games. So we're very excited for all those reasons as well. And then the overarching benefit, and then I'll shut up and answer some questions. The overarching benefit, and I'm gonna steal a line from Dave St. Peter here. When we introduced this partnership back in December, Dave talked about how he sees this opportunity as an opportunity for the Twins and Saints to partner and have 1 + 1 = 3. There are all the advantages that I just mentioned to you. Competitive advantages for the Twins, marketing opportunities for the Saints, opportunities for downtown St. Paul and baseball fans all around to see more baseball, see better baseball. The 1 + 1 = 3 really means that we have an opportunity, the Twins and the Saints together, to work hand in hand to increase the footprint of baseball in all of Minnesota, to work together to improve the game, to work together to improve the opportunities for kids to play the game. Our goal would be working together to have more kids playing baseball, enjoying baseball, becoming baseball fans, kind of going back to that more baseball is better baseball. And here in St. Paul, which we all know is the city of baseball, we're just thrilled to be able to take advantage of that. So, and to take advantage of that opportunity to work with Major League Baseball, to work with the Twins, and improve the footprint and grow the footprint for baseball in Minnesota and in the entire region. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions, and hopefully I can answer some.
I want to thank you, first of all, Derek, for a wonderful presentation. Can we just give him a round of applause here first? And then, if you would be so kind as to raise your hand to ask a question. Lynn is on first. If you don't know, there's a button on the bottom of your screen called Reactions. If you click on that, there's something that says Raise Hand, and then Kathy and I will keep an eye on you. So Lynn is first, then Kathy is next. Oh, not Kathy, you. Okay, then Lauren, we'll take you next.
So congratulations on the new partnership. That's fabulous. Will it have any effect or change on all the fun that happens at Saints games?
Great question, and it's been question number one on number one and 1A. I'll give you 1A here in a second, but that's been question number one on everybody's minds. And if anything, it's going to add to it. One thing as I mentioned, for us to be willing to make this jump from independent to affiliated baseball, it had to be the absolute perfect partnership with the absolute perfect partner. And that's what we have here. The Twins wouldn't want it any other way. And I think they suggested even in the press conference when we announced the partnership that this meant so much to us. They shared this comment with us prior to us entering into the partnership, and then they shared it publicly, which meant so much to us. That they actually envisioned the Saints ballpark experience having more impact on the Target Field ballpark experience than the opposite, which really means a lot to us that they say that, and they've been so supportive all along of not wanting the Saints to change. I think the term they used was the special sauce. The last thing they want to see in this partnership is the Saints losing our special sauce because of the partnership. So you can count on things changing the same. There's a little bit more, we do have to deal with a little bit more big brother governance with Major League Baseball, not necessarily the Twins, more so with Major League Baseball. But that's going to be more behind the scenes stuff. We may have to, I would anticipate having to apologize a few times along the way. But we're we'll probably apologize first, ask for permission later.
Thank you. We'll do Lauren next and then Brad after that.
Thank you for your presentation. Appreciate it. I attended several games at the old stadium and watched them and truly had a good time. And then last summer, I went to the new stadium and I thought I saw a demonstrably better game of baseball being played at the new stadium. Is there a cause and effect relationship that I noticed?
There very well might be. I mean, yeah, there very well might be. Certainly the facilities here at CHS Field for baseball were so much better than they were at Midway Stadium. Midway Stadium had its own, it was special in its own way. What made it special more than anything was 6,000 people being together inside of it and the energy that brought. But from a baseball perspective, it was horrible. The field was horrible. The clubhouses were horrible. The locker facilities. It didn't have fitness facilities for players. It didn't have an indoor batting cage, which are things that are requirements of professional baseball moving forward. So no question, we had an opportunity moving from Midway Stadium to CHS Field in 2015. It was a recruiting tool for us, and it definitely gave us an opportunity to improve our level of play and our level of competition. We were able, back in the heydays of 1993, 94, 95, we had guys like Darryl Strawberry and J.D. Drew and Jack Morris, and we had some pretty big names playing for us. But after that era of independent baseball sort of ended, Midway Stadium actually became a little bit of a challenge for us from a competitive standpoint. So yeah, you're right. That certainly we had an opportunity to improve the level of play with CHS Field, and frankly, now we're able to take this step to AAA because of CHS Field. It's a step that would have never even been dreamt of without CHS Field having been built.
Thank you.
All right, Brad, you're up next, and then Ed Studniski has a question after that.
I've been checking saintsbaseball.com about twice a week now since hearing about the longer season that comes with the AAA affiliation. And I'm wondering when are you going to publish the schedule for the game schedule for this season?
You and me both. Unfortunately, so it's been a crazy transition for all of Major League and Minor League Baseball over the past several months. What we went through here in St. Paul is just one of 120 circumstances that has been taking place as part of this overhaul of Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball. So because of that huge industry-wide overhaul, everything's been on delay. There's some documentation, important documentation that is needed to be signed by all 120 affiliates who are going to be part of this new affiliation program with Major League Baseball. All of those documents are being signed this week, and as soon as everyone has signed those documents, Major League Baseball is going to be issuing all of the minor league schedules. So fingers crossed, we're going to have a schedule to release by the end of this week, or at minimum early next week. The one thing that we know at this point, and I alluded to this a little bit earlier, is that AAA teams' schedule should mirror a window of time that the Major League schedule happens. AA, single A teams, it's likely that they're going to start a little bit later than normal, probably in mid-May or late May. But the AAA teams are intended, and Major League Baseball is hoping that they'll be able to start in April at the same time they do. So our understanding is we'll open sometime in early April. We'll end in September, and we'll play a schedule of around 144 games with about 72 home games.
All right, thank you, Ed.
Yes, thanks, Derek, for joining us today. You mentioned Sid Hartman. I'm curious, did you make it on his list of close personal friends? And secondly, did he warm up to the Saints program?
No, on question one, although I did go to Indiana, and he does told Bob Knight to be one of his very close personal friends, and he had some amazing Bob Knight stories. But no, the answer to your second question is yes, he did. He specifically after CHS Field opened several times over the course of our first 5.5, 6 years of operating here in downtown St. Paul. He would sort of sneak in the media entry and actually with grandkids and such come and enjoy a Saints game here at CHS Field. So definitely over the years, similar to the Twin Saints relationship, I think the Sid Hartman Saints relationship warmed up.
All right. Does anybody else have a question? So we want to thank you again for.
This is Ted. Can I answer? Derek, can you, I assume that you got into this as your career because you were a baseball player. Is that right? Or can you, what led you to go into this as a career?
Yeah, so I played enough baseball to know that there wasn't going to be a paycheck involved, unless it was from behind a desk. So yeah, I definitely grew up playing and loving the game. I grew up in Indianapolis, ironically going to minor league baseball games at an old ballpark called Busch Stadium, AAA ball club, the Indianapolis Indians. And it's another one of those full circle stories. The Saints will now be in the same league likely as the Indianapolis Indians, and the Indians will visit the Saints to play games, and we will visit Indianapolis. So just grew up passionate about the game, certainly playing the game, but ultimately knowing that any sort of career would be behind the desk. I appreciate you asking that question. Deb, one thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned a 1A, a question 1 and a question 1A last time. I think when somebody asked me a question about the fund, but one other thing I wanted to be 100% clear about, this partnership doesn't impact prices. Our individual game ticket prices will remain the same. Affordability, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, affordability is one of our key values, and that won't change. Certainly, if you're a season ticket holder and we have 70 games versus 50 games in the past, at some point that part of the price will go up, but the individual ticket prices will remain absolutely the same heading into the 2021 season, and that will continue to be who we are and what we're all about.
Is there ever, Derek, going to be a mixture of tickets between the two teams?
Yeah, we've had conversations already about how we can work together, ticket packages that combine Twins games and Saints games. Certainly the opportunity to host day-night doubleheaders wherever the schedule allows. When we have a game on the same date that they do, there may be an opportunity to play a day game here at CHS Field, a night game at Target Field, and have folks buy a ticket package to both. So yeah, it's a great question and something we've already started talking about.
Thanks for today. Thank you much.
Thank you.
We're going to take one last question. Mary Jo McGuire has one, and then we'll close up after that.
Thanks so much, Derek, for this great presentation. It's so interesting to hear. I feel like I've been a little bit out of it, that I'm not following this as much. So did Mike the former owner, Vetch, I can't think of his last name. Did he sell out then, or is he still involved? I really love his ownership. I love his values and things. And just wondering where he's at with all of this, or how that worked.
I'm so glad you asked that question, because it allows me to answer it completely clearly for everybody. Our ownership is exactly the same as it was before. This was not an acquisition by the Twins of the Saints. This is, in its truest form, a partnership and an affiliation. Mike Veck is still our president and part owner. Marv Goldklang is still our owner and chairman, and Bill Murray is still our head psychologist and director of fund. So who the Saints are as a company will not change moving forward. everything there stays the same. What changes is the affiliation with the Twins, the players on the field, the coaching staff. We announced very recently that Toby McGuire, Toby Gardenhire, Ron Gardenhire's son will be our field manager. So the Twins do provide the coaching staff and the players on the field. That's the significant change.
I am happy to hear that because I think they are doing a great job. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you again. We are grateful for your time today and for your enthusiasm, and just really, really a bright spot in our week here. Jenny, would you tell us who is on for next week?
Yeah, next week we have a woman named Lindsay Kerr, and she's coming to us. She's the executive director of Lifeline Pilots. So we had an individual last week talk a little bit about this, but it's a nonprofit based in Peoria, and basically they're providing free opportunities where they're taking passengers who need services, life-saving procedures, and flying them all across the country to different hospitals. And so she's going to talk about what that looks like and how they're benefiting folks. And it's going to be really interesting.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Appreciate you being here. I look forward to seeing you next week, and meeting is adjourned.
Madam Chair, do we meet next week? I have it. No, we don't meet next week. I have Lindsay on for the 22nd, but we do meet next week, huh? We meet on the 15th. I thought it was